when I saw the preview for this week's episode of My Adventures with Superman, I was like, okay, all right, this seems like an interesting concept. Lois Lane lost her memory, may have to go through this whole process of them, getting to know each other, seeing Clark, Kal-El, if you want to go that way, having to actually, be the inspiration for her to get in. Because it could be an interesting story to really help these characters grow. Boy, was I wrong. I honestly don't know why I'd even be surprised anymore at this point, but I mean, boy, they really know how to just miss the mark completely with this show and just go off the rails. And I don't know, boy. I don't know. I have one of my subscribers comment on my videos a lot and stuff, and he always says that this one of the major problems with this show is that it has no good pacing. Everything is to just rush and all that. And this was a perfect example of that. This episode, perfect example of how they want to rush things and how it makes absolutely no sense when they do it. So let's get into this. The episode starts off with Kal-El on Krypton in his, mind-jacked state after Brainiac, aka Mind Rapist, puts him in there. And he's on Krypton now. And the thing about it is that he goes in to try and feed this sun eater kind of thing there, and you get to realize that even on Krypton, in his mind, he's still kind of an outcast sort of thing, right? Because he goes there feeding the thing, and his mother shows up floating, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I thought Kryptonians didn't have powers on their planet, but apparently they do. And now, common sense would dictate, if you want to trap somebody in a mental prison, make it something nice so that, you finally get a chance to be in this world that they always thought about, even though he's never wanted to be in Krypton at any point in time, but still he's there. Something to really make him, want to be as a character there and to get things moving along the way it's supposed to. No, you have this clearly robotic version of his mother there telling him, he shouldn't be in here, and that has to casually throw in a remark about how things like this are why you're weak and you need to change. I mean, it's almost like if Brainiac is an idiot who cannot construct anything. Oh wait, he is. Lois Lane show up. She comes out of this wreckage sort of thing there. We don't know how she got in there, because once you enter into the Black Mercy thing, they would expect something to happen, but it keeps happening with us. She comes out of this part there in the wreckage, and then Jor-El and some other floating Kryptonian security guards or something, I think, are there again. Kryptonians are not supposed to be able to fly on their world, but whatever. And they come there and they're like, who are you? How did you get in here? What's going on? And I don't remember. I'm thinking to myself, okay, all right, she doesn't remember. This is a good opportunity for these two characters, because we know that she's going to meet up with Superman sooner or later. This would be a great opportunity for him to grow as a person, she to grow as a person, and then, slowly she gets her memories back, and they help bridge the gap between the two of them and really give some context to this story. That's what I was hoping. Boy, was I ever freaking wrong. I tell you. So back now on the ship, Jimmy and Kara, they're talking and don't know what to do, because the Black Mercy wasn't designed for having one person jack into it, and Lois is in there and they don't know how in God's name they're going to do that. So they need to figure out a plan Kara is understandably upset. She doesn't know what she has to do anymore. So they come back to Earth. Right? They come back to Earth. And Jimmy is there trying to connect to his flame bird people to let them know what's going on. And then all of a sudden, this ridiculous thing happens. They get attacked. And the ship, as you see here, gets cut in half. Now, I want you to understand why this is important, because you see all of this to the back here. This is the engine and everything. When this ship gets cut in half, it should have immediately exploded. Immediately. But that doesn't happen. But I can say this is the engine and everything to the back here. Now, watch what happens. The ship gets cut in half. He falls out. Lois falls out. Right. And some reason the ship is still operational. I don't know how, because she tells Marla and Brain to get out of there. They open a portal and fly through it. How that's possible, I don't know. The ship cut in half and the literal engine section of it gone. This ship should have immediately fallen out of the sky or blown up instantly. But that doesn't happen. She goes after them, catches them, and falls to the ground there with them and texts them and everything. And when she gets them down there now and asks if they're okay, all of a sudden they get sick and she starts to get affected by kryptonite and drops down. And Waller shows up there with a piece of kryptonite. Where did she get this large piece of kryptonite from? I don't know, because last time I checked, she had just gotten like little flakes, scrapings of it off of Wade Wilson's sword. So unless kryptonite now is something you can mass produce, I don't know how she got this. And I will get to even more kryptonite in a little while. So they come there, and then they put. Now we get back to the simulation, and Jor-El and Lara, well, robotic versions of them are trying to, they are asking Lois how she got in there, where did she come from. They realize that it's, that this is the one from Kal-El's memories and stuff, I think. And then Lara says one line here that I think completely redeems anything that you could possibly say. She actually says, when it comes to Lois, she's even more annoying than the memories, give her credit for. And yes, oh yes, that is so true. That is so true. So they decide to lock her up there and gone. And then in comes Kal-El. And he is just there coming in to try and look at, and he brought her cake. And you know, it's very thing and all of this suspect and stuff. And she likes cake and thing, and they sit down there to talk. And then when she literally just holds his hand, right? Literally just holds his hand, all her memories just come rushing back. And that exact moment she just holds his hand, all the memories just come flooding back to her, and that's it. Way to ruin what could have been a really good episode to help them grow. But when you only have one more episode left after this, you have to rush everything, and it makes everything ridiculous. This could have been an episode to really help Lois and Clark grow as individuals and really get things going. No. That has just gone out the door, because, you know, they need to just hurry this up along there or something. And when that happens now, she starts to try and tell him that, his name is Clark and she's here to help him and he needs to remember. And then all of a sudden, his evil robotic parents show up and they try to delete her, right? And when they do it now, she ends up back at the crash site. Like, it literally just sends her back to where she began there. That was it. Literally just sends her back to where she began. Right? So, Jimmy, Lois, and Kara are being transported by Waller to wherever the hell they're going and take them there. Now, you would think you have dangerous people, or you claim to have dangerous people on board, you will have more than just one van, but no. That's all they need. When suddenly they get stopped, and who stops them? Perry White, Vicky Vale, and the camera crew, and they're all, oh, we saw Jimmy's Flamebird broadcast, and you're holding members of the press against their will, and that's a violation of their rights. And I thought Vicky Vale was a bitch, but all of a sudden they're trying to make it seem like she's a champion of the people. It's the same one who wanted to write the article on what a horrible bastard Superman was. But okay, all of a sudden we're doing this now. And then who comes to save them? Steve Lombard, because God forbid you have more than one truck transporting people. Yeah, and while it was going on, he breaks them out because apparently he's enough and takes off. So they send thing after them, and they're going there. And while they're doing this now, Brainiac shows up with his candle. Ship comes through this portal, and he's in Superman's body there. And once again, Lois and Clark are going through this whole thing where she tells him who he is, and he's trying to make sense of it, and what they go through all of that there. And then once she starts to try and get through to him, evil robotic father shows up and sends her back and looks to delete her again. Every time it keeps happening. And then it just turns into this ridiculous running trope where it just keeps happening. Like they just keep deleting her, she keeps coming back, deleting her, coming back. Goes, finds Superman and starts to tell him the whole long and short of it. And then, he decides to believe, he's like, he's trying to have those to believe and all of this stuff. And then we have this scene where Jimmy and Kara are there, and they need to talk about how things are bad, they need to do something, and Kara says about how she doesn't know what to do. She was created to be a weapon to fight, and she doesn't, and she's failed that and all this, and he's like, Superman was created to be a weapon, and he chose not to. I don't know who told him Superman was created to be a weapon, but whatever. And so she's there, she don't know what to do and all of this. She feels like she's let down and stuff. And then we get to Steve Lombard. And Steve says, aren't you Superman's cousin? I don't know how he knows this, because there was no indication of any kind that anybody knew she's Superman's cousin. I don't know, but suddenly he just knows. And then Steve says another line that actually is a redemption for him, when he literally says, Superman gets beaten up like every week, and that's a fact. That's a fact. It's like they literally line up, or like they pre-register to cut his ass every week. And it's like, but then he says, he gets beaten up every week, but he always gets up and goes back out there to fight, and that's what makes him a hero. And that is true. You get knocked down, you get back up, you go out there to be a hero. I mean, getting your ass beaten every week is not very heroic, but still, it is what it is. So they are trying to do this now. We get back to these two because they seem to be dragging this out endlessly. And then, Clark tells Lois that he starts to remember, and he is all about how, why would you do all of this for me if it's real, if it's true? Why would you come looking for me? I don't understand. And she's about, well, because I'm madly in love with you. And then he's like, Lois wouldn't come for me. Lois wouldn't do that. I don't know why you think she wouldn't do that, but whatever. And then she's all about, what I worked with Livewire. I broke into Star Labs. I stole a spaceship. I came across the galaxy to get you. And all of this, and then he's all, that's crazy, and all of this, and he's the stopper, and this and that. And then when he gets his memory, back, evil daddy shows up and tosses him across the thing there. When he's looking to finish him off, Here comes Super-Lois to the rescue. Yes, people, Super-Lois to the rescue. This is what this show has been leading up to all this time. This is what it's been leading up to all this time. Superman lying there helplessly. Oh no, please! And then the girl who's like probably barely 5 feet tall, 100 pounds soaking wet. Suddenly she comes in there as Super-Lois to stop him. Yeah, because that's what we're going with. So she stops his punch. He's shocked, and then she just bam, him off, and he goes flying into there. Yeah, that's what this has all been leading up to. Super-Lois to the rescue right there. She saves him because she's suddenly so badass now. So anyway, Brainiac Superman shows up and he's all people of Earth. You will be the crowning jewel in the resurrection of Krypton. If you bow down to me, you will be spared. If you do not, it will be fire. And I'm like, every world you have visited, you've had Kara destroy. What Krypton are you trying to rebuild? It's never explained. Because all this lunatic seems to want to create is a graveyard of worlds. You are not doing anything. You're destroying these planets that is moving along with no explanation as to why you're doing anything. None. Absolutely none. So he shows up there and Waller orders they have to fire some missiles at him. They do. Fire any missiles at him. Missiles get fired. They have absolutely no effect on him whatsoever. However, understand me, Waller has her 3 goons, Deathstroke, whatever the hell this is, an atomic skull attack, and then, shockingly, although not shockingly, Brainiac turns out to be a better Superman than Superman and one-shots them all. Like, just as they come in, bap, and one-shots them, that's it. God forbid Superman ever did that, even though he could, but that's not happening. So yeah. And she's clearly shocked. Why? Because all 3 of them used to kick Superman's ass regularly on a weekly basis. But somehow now, Brainiac Superman is doing what regular Superman should have been able to do all along. What a shocker. What an absolute shocker. So yeah, Kara shows up to fight him, and then Waller has Luthor activate these new robots that he have, and all these robots have kryptonite cores. Again, where did they get all this kryptonite? It's not something you can just mass produce. Apparently that's what I thought, but no, for some reason they could make it like whatever they want, because I don't understand how you get a couple little scrapings or something and you would have been able to mass produce this alien rock out of the way. You have nothing on Earth to reproduce, but somehow they're just making kryptonite now whenever they damn well please. So yeah, they're fighting there, and again we get back to Super-Lois, who one-shotted him, and Clark is all up. She's all shocked as to how did she do that? She's only human. And then Clark is all all about what? You're only human out there, but in here you're the strongest person I know. So clearly he's suffering from some kind of kryptonite poisoning, because if he really believes she's the strongest person he knows, that's saying something. So yeah, 2 of them there get back, or thing kiss, and then when they do, they change back into their regular fits, and once again they become, oh look, we're so superpowered and stuff there, man. Yeah, trying to smash through this barrier to keep them out there. Yeah, there goes Super-Lois with Superman tagging along. Yay, and they managed to smash through. She comes back there, and then when she does though, Superman breaks free of the Black Mercy. Now, if you thought all of this before was stupid, it gets worse. And I know, but it does. When Superman breaks free of the Black Mercy, though, pissed off, he wants to make them all pay and all of this. So here's the ridiculously stupid part, because I talked about the really stupid part, right? He wanted a Kryptonian body, right? But when he gets back into his robotic body, right? Because Luthor's robots were attacking them with kryptonite, which was harming Superman's body and all of that, right? He goes back into his robotic body, right? Into his robotic body, and activates kryptonite shielding on his body. Why in God's name would you want a Kryptonian body that is vulnerable to kryptonite when your robotic body has the ability to shield you from the effects of kryptonite? Why? And he doesn't just stop at his robotic body. He shields the entire ship of Kando. All his robots, you understand me? All his robots, he shields all of them from kryptonite poison, from being affected by kryptonite. You understand me? And they start to take out all the robots and stuff there. And then he doesn't just stop with that also. He then takes control of the robots that Lex Luthor had. So he adds them to what he had. Why in God's name would you want when you want a Kryptonian body when your robotic body is capable of doing all of this? Why? And the simplest explanation for it is that they just wanted to put this whole thing in there where Lois would have to go into the Superman's mind and turn into Super-Lois to give that opportunity to them, because there was no freaking reason why you would want to put your consciousness into a robotic body. I mean, into a Kryptonian body to leave you vulnerable when your robotic body is perfectly capable of doing all of this. And when he does that now, he decides, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to blow this city and most likely this entire planet straight to hell. So he activates his giant death beam and fires. Kara comes in there and manages to block it. He says, you know what, screw that shit. I'm just going to line up and fire again. She's there and she still wants to take the blast. Readies herself to do it. Even though she's still suffering the effects of kryptonite poisoning, Superman comes in and uses one hand to stop the blast. So, you know how good that was. And then he changes into a new suit. Well, apparently he gets boots. No, he was barefoot before. I don't know. And he gets a new outfit. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I ain't digging it. I really and truly ain't digging it. The yellow added to it, and this here and thing here looking good. The boots look a little off. I mean, even the whole makeup, it looks more like armor than an actual Superman suit before. If I had to choose between the two, the other one I would say was better. I don't really dig this one. I don't really dig it at all. But yeah, so he does that there now, and he's there ready to help her take out everything, and Brainiac is like, nope, not having that shit. He has the robots attack them, and he took control of, attack them with kryptonite, and then the robots come down there, and they decide to hold Waller and them hostage and all of that. And Brainiac is more than ready to wipe out everything because Superman and Kara are down, and he is shielded. Why he would want a Kryptonian body, I don't know. And he's ready to destroy every freaking thing possible. The man is down, and his death beam is aiming again to take out everybody. That's it. There's one episode left, and the only thing that's going to possibly happen at this point is that either Brain and Marla are going to come back and pull off some kind of Hail Mary and save them, or Superman is suddenly going to get some power up and save them, or maybe Kara might finally tap into her electric blue powers and save them, or the both of them might tap into something and save everybody. That's about the only things could really happen because there's nothing else shocking it. They rushed this episode like the life depended on it. This whole thing was just designed to give us Super-Lois in his mind. Brainiac is a complete and utter idiot. You understand me? You are more powerful in your robotic form. Why you would want that Kryptonian body, I don't know. Because we've seen from this episode, it made no sense. And that's it. Seriously, this episode, 1.2 out of 5. That's it. It's just stupidness again. And there's only one episode left for this season. We all know how this is going to turn out. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.